The African Union is currently in session for a 39th ordinary session to discuss on the intercontinental free trade and to discuss on issues plaguing Africa. A union, an organization which is so very useless, powerless, which is aimed at wasting government money, are now discussing on how they can move the free trade or intercontinental trade within Africa. Remember that African Union, I said the only way for African Union to be useful is when African Union will adopt a common passport for all member states, whereby it will not require visa fee. We will not require visa fee for members, for citizens to move across respective nations. Second, when there will be free trade, among member states, where you don't need to pay huge duties or huge tariffs, such that you can sell a good for you to sell a good to another nation. Third, the African Union must also agree on a firm principle of not protecting dictatorship and election riggers who rig elections, rig everything riggable. The African Union must take that firm political action. Without that, the African Union is nonsense. Because as I'm talking to you, the African Union does not have a common bank like the Sahel nations do. So the African Union is useless. You know, the taxes within Africa is high. It is more expensive to move from an African country to another African country using flights than to move from an African country to a European country. For you to move from Cameroon to Ghana, you pay higher flight tariff than to move from Cameroon to Britain, or to move from Cameroon to France, or Cameroon to Germany, or Cameroon to Ireland, or Cameroon to Estonia, or Cameroon to Latvia. It is very, very, very expensive to move from Cameroon or from Nigeria to Kenya. Very expensive. Why? Because the taxes that African nations have imposed are exorbitant. And that's why tourism within Africa has been choked up like this. And that's also the business within Africa has been choked up, because people who cannot move from one African country to go and invest, like people who move within one European nation to go and invest, due to the high cost of transportation and other luxury services and other touristic services have reduced, because it's not easy to remove 700,000 to pay a flight from one African country to another, whereas you could use that money to pay a flight from Cameroon to Germany, Cameroon to another continent. And that's why you see a European, somebody who move from France today is in Italy, tomorrow is there, moving, because how much they pay? Not up to 75,000 francs, not up to $100. But you cannot use $100 move within Africa. It is hectic. So Africans end up dying without moving to another African country, without moving freely, because of the increase in these taxes and the high cost of transportation within Africa. When you pay a flight ticket within an African country, look at the tax that has been imposed on the airport, you will weep, as compared to European nations. So the African Union, as of now, the only way for this body to be what it is, first is a common passport, scrape off all visas requirements. Second, institute a free trade across. Then third, ensure that they don't protect election riggers. They don't protect election riggers. With that, another issue now is that they work on reducing this nonsense of increased high flight tickets. Somebody cannot just move from Cameroon to Kenya and back because it's so expensive. That's why you see our friends who are in Europe. Don't envy anybody in Europe who move from one European nation to another. With a flight that in fact, your transportation you pay within your own country to go from one region to another is more expensive than that person. Watch this video.
Value addition and broad-based growth at continental level. It is in this context that I am honored to preside over this inaugural meeting of the Committee of Heads of State and Government on SCFTA implementation. I thank the SCFTA Secretariat for convening this meeting on the margins of the 39th Ordinary Session of the Africa Union Assembly. Since entering its operational phase in January 2021, the SCFTA has made meaningful progress. Most core protocols have been negotiated and institutional frameworks are in place. Our priority now shifts firmly from negotiation to implementation, so that the agreement delivers tangible benefits for our 1.4 billion people. We all remember the original intention of SCFTA was for us to make our borders not barriers, not roadblocks, not impediments, but to make our borders stepping stones and bridges between our different countries so that we can trade better. I can give an account of Kenya here. The largest trading bloc for Kenya by far is Tanzania and Uganda because of the East African community. That opportunity exists for all of us through the SCFTA. And that is why the implementation of SCFTA is critical, is important for us to be able to create jobs, to create industry, and to trade better so that our contribution of trade within Africa stops being the least in the globe. We all know that today Asia trades with itself to the level of 65% of trade. Europe, almost 70%. In Africa, we are still struggling to get to 18%. And that is why this meeting of heads of states to help push the implementation of SCFTA is critical and is central.
Congratulations, you've passed your GCE or baccalaureate, and now it's time to choose a professional university that opens real doors to your future. Let us introduce you to the African Higher Institute of Technology, a career-focused institution that not only awards internationally recognized certificates, but also guarantees direct employment opportunities upon graduation through its solid network of partner companies and institutions worldwide. This school operates in collaboration with the Cameroon Ministry of Higher Education, UBA Bank, St. Francis Xavier Institute, Canada. Located in Yaoundé, Mendong, away from the noisy town, IHIT provides the following for its students: a free brand new laptop immediately after paying a registration fee of 25,000 francs CFA, free high-speed internet access on campus, hands-on professional training, mentorship from local and international experts, offering courses like local government in accounting, finance and administration, computer engineering, artificial intelligence, biomedical sciences, economics and finance, business and management, arts and education, law and public policy, agricultural sciences. Whether you dream of becoming a software developer, civil engineer, healthcare technician, or business strategist, IHIT is your direct path to success. Apply now and take the bold step toward a future of innovation, professionalism, and global opportunity.